Welcome to this special edition of Conversations in the Coop. It's tournament time at Trinity. Both teams headed to the NCAA tournament this weekend. Pleasure to be joined by Reilly Campbell of Trinity Women's Basketball, Ben Callahan-Gold of Trinity Men's Basketball. And let's dive right in. Reilly, you and your team making the tournament for the second straight year, headed out to SUNY New Paltz. You'll play Baldwin Wallace out of Ohio in the first round, and then also at that site, the host SUNY New Paltz as well. Reilly, just talk about you and your teammates getting in for a second year and that feeling of completing that job. I know one of many goals your team has.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. We were really lucky to accomplish it last year, and it's even cooler to do it 2 years in a row. I think what we were most excited about, though, was just another week together. Just meant more time, hanging out in the locker room, another bus trip. We were excited for those little things to not be over.
And Ben, you and your teammates winning the NESCAC title last Sunday up at Williams, 26-1 on the year, and get the opportunity to host this weekend, play Utica in a first-round game. The other two teams come to Trinity on Friday and Saturday are Swarthmore and Virginia Wesleyan. Has some of the euphoria of last Sunday's win started to wear off in the team, or is the team still riding that high?
It definitely started to wear off. It's funny because it's like you still have the adrenaline from the game when you're celebrating right after, and then you have this 2-hour bus ride and you get off and you're just dead. Like you can't help that from happening. But yeah, we're super excited. I think because of our success so far this year and how focused we were on the NESCAC, a lot of the pressure's off. I think guys are playing a lot more free, and it's fun. Like Reilly said, just another week to be together. That's really what it's about.
So something magical is happening in the gym at Trinity. We've always had winning teams. This year, the team's combining for a 45-8 record, so 85% winning percentage. Both teams in the NCAA tournament, one of only 15 schools in the country where that's taking place. What do you two attribute it to? Because there's a great basketball culture at Trinity.
Yeah, I mean, I think both teams are just filled with gym rats. Sometimes in the fall and in the spring, it's hard to get on a hoop. We'll text each other a lot and be like, "When are you guys on?" So I think just the dedication and the grind between both teams is really what helps.
Also, before the season, every single morning, one of us is in there before classes start and everything, doing something. So, it really starts before the season starts, and a lot of people don't really look into that as much, and just building that group togetherness and having that one focus from the beginning of the year, I think is really important.
Yeah, and I think our strength coaches help a lot with that. We
Absolutely.
both have awesome strength coaches, Bill and Tyler, and that's a great way to implement that in the beginning of the year, and they definitely help with that.
So the teams seem very close. I've heard both of you say it, both of your coaches say it. What's it like in the NESCAC when you're playing at the exact same time on Friday nights, Saturday afternoons? How quickly after a game do you know what's going on with the other team?
I mean, it's funny. We check their games before we check the other NESCAC games.
Yeah,
just
always.
to see what happens. So.
Yeah. Or if there's 30 seconds left and we're in the game, we're changing in the locker room, what's the score? What's the score?
Sometimes we get lucky though if you get back from a bus ride. It'll be the end of the game.
Yeah.
Sometimes the timing works. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but sometimes it works.
Yeah, so it's been nice to have games when we both hosted the first round of the playoffs. That was
Yeah.
awesome because we got to be there for each other and make those games. But yeah, I wish we had more games where we could watch each other, but it's still cool.
You can in the beginning, but
The very beginning. So the men can watch the beginning on Friday night, and then the women can watch the end of the men's game on Friday night.
Yes.
So both of you had the accomplishment of going over 1,000 points this year. The first time that's happened with a men's and a women's player in the same winter in a long time. Both of you did it in just under 3 years. And so just talk about that achievement. I know it's an individual achievement and maybe not your top priority, but certainly something to be proud of that you'll be on that wall in Oosting Gym forever.
Yeah, I mean, my team, I had no idea that it was even coming. So the way they surprised me that day meant so much to me. And yeah, I have to be that person. I have to attribute a lot of it to my team. The good passes, the good defense that help us get to those offensive accomplishments. But yeah, it's just been a grind. It's crazy that it happened in such a short amount of time, but I'm really excited for it. So yeah, it was just an awesome moment.
And Ben, yours came on Sunday in the NESCAC championship game, and on Saturday, Tufts was doing everything to deny you the ball, face guarding you, everything. And you let your teammates kind of take over for that kind of comfortable win against Tufts, and then on Sunday you get it I'm imagining the championship was more of your focus afterwards.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny because you said it, like, you really can't do it without your teammates, and like, not even just them being there, but them trusting you and you trusting that. It's just like, without that, no one's going to be successful. And we really just, everything is a group effort, and I think it's great that it happened in the NESCAC championship game, because it just shows how important the teamwork is in everyone's success, individual and team wise.
So Ben, you talked about it a second ago. You've kind of you checked off another goal. Team won that NESCAC championship. Now playing free, right? These are fun games now in the NCAA tournament. What's the mindset of both teams heading into this weekend? Reilly first. Your team's been there before, so most everybody except for the first years and a few new players have experienced what an NCAA tournament game is.
Yeah, I think the mindset is just one game at a time, because everything's one and done now, and just enjoying the time together. And it's kind of hard. You go from the NESCAC tournament where you know all these players like the back of your hand, kind of, and you know these teams very well, to I haven't heard much of Baldwin Wallace before in my life, so you kind of have to have that quick switch to like, okay, we got to learn this team now. So yeah, just focus and enjoying the moment is really important to us.
Yeah, it's really interesting to kind of experience like the flip, where usually you don't really know anyone. The scouts are kind of like, we put it together because we've watched some film, but when it gets to NESCAC play, these coaches have been playing against each other and these players for at least 3-4 years, so they really know what's going on. Whereas now we have to go, okay, now I kind of got to watch a bunch of games this whole season, see what these players are like, and it really is a different kind of mindset from the team going into it, because you got to be more open-minded and not really know anything going into it.
How do you make that switch where for several weeks both teams have been playing knowing there's postseason coming, there's NESCAC tournament coming, there's more likely than not an NCAA tournament coming? Well, now you're here. So you reach the goal that any basketball player in college wants to get to, which is an NCAA tournament. And now, beyond that is the precipice of, it might be our last time in the locker room together. It might be the last game. And so how do you kind of ratchet up that sense of urgency even higher for these games, Reilly?
We always put, like, one thing I always make sure to say before the game is, like, don't let the nerves overcome you. We've been in these moments before. We know what to do. And just try not to think about it too much. You don't want to think about it being your last, because again, I think that could get in your head a little bit. So trying to put those thoughts away, I think, is the best way to handle that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time too, you don't really feel that until maybe a week or two after. You know, you're always, even the week after the season ends, you're like, all right, we got practice today. Like because you're just in that habit. So just not really thinking about that and just enjoying it. I think now, like, NESCAC's over. This is like the fun part. This is when you enjoy it. You know, maximum 2.5 weeks left. It's like, we're here, so you might as well just enjoy the rest of it.
Now, you two spend a lot of time together off the court, 3 classes together in the semester, both psychology majors. So, you know, when you look back in a couple weeks and it is over, what do you want people to say about you and your teammates from this season?
I want them to, you know, hopefully say we're national champions. But more importantly, I want them to, you know, remember what a good team we were, what a good culture we had, and I want them to know how we supported other teams on campus throughout the year, not just focused on ourselves and kind of more the bigger picture. Not only know that we're back-to-back, you know, NCAA tournament appearances and stuff like that, but also know that, like, we're good people.
Yeah, I think it's cool. You know, our last playoff game against Wesleyan here was a really cool environment. And I think, you know, to everyone else watching and everyone else like thinking about this year, to carry that over to future years and future games and this weekend, I think that's awesome. You know, really creating like a fun basketball environment here would be really cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you both. Wish you both best of luck. Women start things off Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock start against Baldwin Wallace out at SUNY New Paltz, and then the men 6:30 on Friday night taking on Utica in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Let's hope we're doing this again in a few weeks.
Yes.
Future rounds. That'll do it for this special conversation on the Coop. For all the latest news, scores, and schedules, go to bantamsports.com. Follow us on social @bantamsports. Until next time.